Hey, what's going on, Mike? How you doing?
How are we doing?
I'm doing pretty great, pretty great. This is like one of the mastermind calls.
Are we going to walk through the process of what happens at some time? So I know that you're working on the back end systems, but I'm going to need to know how to operate those systems and how to interpret the data that comes out, all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff.
All right, cool. So let's go over this really quick here for you. And then after that question, I'll go over a couple of the questions people drop me over here. So you got one, two, three, four, around five questions here after that. But this is important for you, so let's make sure we take care of this. Have you ever used Go High Level before?
No, not directly. So my Zoho is connected to a system, funding machine system that uses GoHighLevel, and it passes data through to my Zoho CRM.
Okay, understood. From what it looks like over here, we're building out the actual call funnel on our GoHighLevel account, and
Right.
then we're sending out all the information to your Zoho, as in the CRM and other data and the actual application questions. Yeah, I believe we're going to be using your Zoho calendar. But what you were telling me is that the Zoho doesn't send out texts.
No, it does.
Oh, it does. Okay, perfect. And it's registered for like A2P and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just use the GoHighLevel really as just a funnel builder to have that survey, and then it's gonna take them over to the Zoho calendar. Kind of like what you were saying, in order to optimize this campaign in the best way possible, we do need a couple of things from you, just like data, like you were just saying. Let me share my screen here, show exactly what we need. Quick second over here. You
Yeah.
pull up your account, or maybe just pull up an example one here, 'cause I can't find it in a second. Let's go up here. Let me pull up a blank KPI sheet to show you what it would look like. KPI template, sweet, sweet. All right, this is also an amazing question for anybody else watching this recording. So let's rock over here. So long story short, all your data from Go High Level and Zoho is also going to be populated into here. The reason why we use something like this is so that it gives us a macro view of everything for us to be able to really understand how the campaign is actually performing. So rather than just trying to optimize your campaign to get cheap costs, I'd rather not do that. I would rather optimize your campaign to give you what, actual revenue. So that just makes sense. So the more information we kind of throw on here, the better.
Okay.
This is like day-to-day operations. What's in green over here automatically populates in from a software called Supermetrics, and it populates onto here. That's like lead cost, cost per link, amounts spent on the daily. That automatically populates. This automatically populates. This automatically populates. A lot of what we need from you and your end over here is kind of like what's in yellow over here. Sales call books and sales calls due for the day. That actually also does automatically populate. Let me change it out to greens. I never realized we didn't change it out there. What color is this over here? Excuse me really quick. It's like that color. Sales call book. This should be like this color, I think. Whatever. I'll have my team fix it later. Make it look nice. Sales calls booked and sales calls due for the day. This automatically populates in. So really all you're focusing on is what's like this yellow area over here. In which case, the more information that we have on here, really the better we're able to optimize the actual campaign, the better we're actually able to take your input and further get you what you want over here. DM, dials, DMs, follow-ups. At first, a lot of people don't really put that in, but again, the more information that we can, the better it's going to perform. The amount of meaningful conversation. Sales calls booked is how many calls are booked today off of ads for the future. Sales calls due for today is how many calls that we have scheduled on the calendar for today.
Okay.
Now, sales calls showed and show up rate will automatically populate in based upon GoHighLevel. I'm going to show you this in a second because you are using Zoho. So I'm going to show you a little bit different way of doing this for you and how we will set it up. Sales offers made though is like, hey, I had 10 calls today. Out of those 10 calls, eight of them were really good fits. And those eight people, I shot out an offer, in which case I told them, hey, it costs $1,000, $3,000 to get with us. I gave an offer. Number of new customers closed. I think that's kind of simple. PIF is paid in full. So people paid, you say your price is 3,000 bucks. They pay 3,000, put it over here. Deposit, hey, I'm gonna leave hustling it out. I'm gonna leave $1,000 deposit out of that $3,000. At least I leave a deposit. Upsell existing, new revenue, new cash collected. Don't worry about that too much, especially in the very beginning. Recurring cash collected. This will later be automated. Refund, customers, cancels, and chargebacks, and high roads will also be automated for you as well too. So really what I really just need is like paid in full slash cash collected onto here. And we need to understand people are showing up. On this
Right.
next page over here is where
Wait, let's
every
just
single.
let's just go back to that page for a second.
Mhm,
So each row is a day, right?
mhm.
So if there were 10 calls booked in a day, it's reflected in one row.
Yes, it would be like 10 right here. Sales calls due
Okay.
for today.
So the fields that you want me to populate, the dials, the DMs, that's obviously a daily total.
Mhm.
Okay.
Later, Mike, this is going to be automated a lot because right now, when you first start this out, you might not have appointment setters, you might not have closers yet. We're kind of in this hustle stage. We're building it out, bringing
Yeah.
cash flow in. Once you have more cash flow, you and I both know we have more options. We can hire appointment setters, we can hire closers, and all that good stuff.
Right.
So later on, once we start scaling it up, then what we're really just focusing on is giving your team a scorecard. What the scorecard is really just keeping them accountable. Hey, did you do 50 dials today? Did you do 50 follow-ups today? Hey, do you do this? And we can really automate that for you as well too. Right now, in the beginning, it's kind of like hustling it out, I kind of call it. So it is going to require a little bit more of an investment in terms of like energy you're shooting out, but it's going to make the campaign perform a whole lot better.
Okay.
Answer your questions. Cool. Next thing over here. So this is like month by month, day by day over here. So entire month and day by day. Now, all the leads and appointments will automatically populate into here. This over here, appointment day, showed client notes, good, bad fit, and cash collected. We automate this from whatever sales system that you're using. We do have a lot of experience with Zoho, so we love using Zoho. It's nice because we can integrate it with your GoHighLevel and have the
Yeah.
information really speak back and forth with each other. So honestly, at this point, this part is up to you. Where do you want to, what would be easier for you to fill this out, especially now and in the future? A couple of examples is, as an example, we go to an account over here. This is like GoHighLevel. So on the left-hand side over here, you can mark good fit, you can mark bad fit, and this will automatically populate in. That's one part we can kind of put it on. The second part is, obviously just putting it right on here. And the third
Mhm.
part is we can set up some sort of integration with Zoho, or what we can also do as well too is that every sales call that you have, a DM then goes out to you, a message, a text, an email goes out to you for you to then give this information manually, kind of responding to each email or each text.
That's a
Just
good
so
idea.
you have that information just pop into here.
Yeah.
All the systems are the same. It's just whatever's easiest for you, whatever's going to get done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, an email, or even if we can set up like a call screen, that during the call it comes up and everything that needs to be recorded gets recorded on that screen,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, we can absolutely set that up as well too. So kind of like a pop-up that appears when the call happens.
Yeah, and that way the information's right there and you're not going to forget to do it when it's in real time.
hmm The pop-up as it in Zoho?
I think so. That should have the capability, right?
I haven't done a pop-up in Zoho yet, but if there is a capability, we can figure that out, not a problem.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this is just whatever's easiest for you. Whatever we can make your life easier here, we'll figure this out. You
I
know.
mean, the pop-up would be easiest, but if we can't do that, then, you know, um, this can this could probably be converted to a data sheet, right? Where the fields correlate to the columns and you're just populating the field on the sheet. So it's just laid out, not like this, like, so each row is its own sheet, you know?
Each row is its own sheet here.
Yeah. So like for data entry, this is not very efficient because it's very confusing. So if each row is one call, right?
hmm
So what if we just made like a mask sheet that overlays this, that takes the columns and just puts them on a sheet. So, you're typing the answers onto a sheet that says, name, email, question, question, question. It's just laid out differently where it's
Well, this information
easily
for you
digested.
from here to here, from here all the way to appointment date automatically populates for you. All you
Okay.
really need is if this person showed or no show, any objections that the person might have, good or bad fit, and cash collected.
Okay.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of information.
All right. So I was thinking we had to fill all this in. I'm like,
Oh no, no, we're trying to make your life easier over here.
yeah, right. That's why I was saying if we can do it as, like a data entry sheet where it'd be easier. But if
Yeah,
we're only
so
for fields, it's different.
yeah. So all this information over here populates automatically through from what the questions come in from the survey, appointment day when they schedule. This automatically can populate in from GoHighLevel, or you can have it populate into your Zoho. Or like I was saying, is that after every call, boom, you get shot
Yeah.
out an email and you just reply to those emails.
Okay.
We've done all of them, and those work. The pop-up
Yeah.
is the only thing that I have not done yet.
I mean, but then again, if we're only collecting I was thinking we're collecting all this information. So if we're only collecting 4 bits of information, it could be, email's fine.
I mean, you also get access to the sheet as well too. So the
Yeah.
easiest for you is literally just writing show or miss. That might be the easiest.
Yeah.
Now, as we go, we're gonna kind of build this up over here. But let's keep
All
on
right.
going a little bit more in the system if you don't mind.
Yes.
I want to make sure I take care of Alberto as well too. He's just jumped on here. But yeah, so this makes sense over here. We try to keep it very, very simple. Every lead is gonna populate onto here. Let's go a little bit on the inside usages on GoHighLevel if you haven't used that already. Because this sheet, all the data is gonna be dumped onto here, as in numbers, as in the lead, as in the survey questions, automatically populate into here, and then it's gonna get formatted into AppGrader and into the month-by-month view. Next thing that I kind of want to go over is that I think will help you out a lot is that let me pull up my welcome presentation over here because these four
Yeah.
pieces, yeah, so we were just talking about these 4 pieces of information. This is how we typically get it from people on GoHighLevel. There's plenty of ways to do it, no problem. But on the left-hand side over here, good fit or bad fit, objections, no show or show, and then cash collected over here. So however we're gonna figure that out, we're gonna figure it out.
Okay.
Let's talk a little about the actual ads. I do believe that's very, very important. And then go into a little bit more about the GoHighLevel and kind of how to use GoHighLevel a little bit.
All right.
Because I'm already over here and the ads are already over here. So there's really 2 major parts about running the paid ads over here. 2 really biggest things. The first thing is just the ads that are actually going after the cold audience. Okay. We could just send out ads out to everybody and bring everybody in. But what ends up happening is when you bring out everybody, yes, you do have a cheap cost per lead, but you got to spend a whole lot of time on the back end qualifying everybody, reaching out to everybody, calling up everybody, only to find that it's just a lot of cheap leads and you're spending a lot of resources qualifying and finding the right type of person to actually work with. So rather than trying to make an ad that goes out to everybody and gives you cheap cost per lead, we really make ads that are very, very specific with the type of person that we are trying to attract. And what do I mean by that is, a nice little thing I tell people is to really have the person that we're trying to attract very, very crystal clear in your mind while we're making this ad. The 2 things you can do in an ad is you can filter people out and you can generalize people. When you generalize people, going out to even more people and a cheaper cost per lead, but it means cheaper quality, more resources on the back end you need to spend qualifying those people out. When you filter people out, you're increasing the quality and you're increasing that cost per result. You only want to filter out people when you're trying to bring in more wealthy or more motivated people. You don't want to filter out people for reasons that don't make sense.
Mhm.
So let me go over a couple of ads that are really, really performing very, very well for our funding clients over here. If anybody else on here is talking about credit, you want to go over those credit ads, no problem. Let's keep on going. We're talking about funding here.
Yeah.
Left-hand side over here. Let me see if I can get this to play. Boom, boom, boom.
So as you guys can tell, another business owner just got approved for $50,000 interest-free business.
So this is my buddy Jonathan Correa. Shout out to you if you're watching this recap over here. But a couple reasons why this ad did very, very well. And it's a very, very simple ad. I don't see a lot of people using this. But it's just a screen share of him showing an approval of something like Chase over here. This person got approved for what, 50K of funding?
Mhm.
Couple reasons why this did well. First thing is like I believe that the Chase in the background does a lot of the marketing for you and sends out to more people that resonate with Chase. A couple other things that he did pretty well over here is that there's not too much other distractions, not too other logos. A couple other people I used to work with when they're running ads. First, before we get into that, the AI scans ad and send out to those it's going to resonate with. That's the entire premise of ads now. So if you're running an ad that has, let me just pull up an example of something that I'm not too crazy about and a couple of things that I absolutely love. What I'm saying is that if you put up a Yankee hat on top of here, the AI is going to scan that, it's going to see it's Yankees and try to send out to people that like their Yankees. It's going to filter people out specifically to Yankees, but you're not really filtering out to people that are more qualified. It's kind of like a bad filter. You know,
Okay.
another thing over here is this guy has a Louis Vuitton shirt. It's kind of tough to see. There you go. Louis Vuitton shirt. I don't like Louis Vuitton shirts because the people that we're trying to track is more so subtle wealth. Yeah, some of them might be flashy, but majority of them really aren't. So I'm not too crazy about designer stuff when I'm creating these ads over here. Let's keep on going over here. So yes, plain, very, very simple. Another thing that I really like about this is that he calls out the requirements. So he is specifically line of credit, 0% interest. He's focusing on bringing people in with over 700 credit score, 10K credit card limit, and no more than 2 derogatories over here. So when he made this ad, he specifically calls those people out. Hey, we recently got denied for business funding. Well, guess what? We just got this person approved for 0% interest, 50K over here from Chase. But in order to do so, we had to give this person at least a 700 credit score. We had to get them up to a 10K credit card limit. We had at least or accumulation of 10K in credit cards and no more than really than 1 or 2 derogatories on here. If you need help with this, reach out to me right now. What I'm saying though is that by actually calling out those requirements, it's going to filter people out. It's going to increase that cost per result, but also increase that quality significantly. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because on the actual ad, you do want to call out the requirements. Otherwise, you're going to bring in a bunch of unqualified people, and we don't really like that because that means you're going to spend a lot of resources in the back end reaching out to everybody, calling everybody, qualifying them, only to find the one person that's actually going to be qualified and you can get cashed up for it. Let's go to the next one over here.
Do you need $250,000 for your business? Look, if your business has been running for at least 2 years and you have a 700.
So again, very, very beginning, he calls out the requirements. If you have at least a 700 credit score and your business has been active for the past year or 2 over here, he calls them out directly. A couple other things that he does very, very well: bright red shirt and the headline, boom, right over there at 250K in funding. Very, very obvious, stands out, grabs attention, and it's a very, very simple ad. Some of my best performing campaigns, ads, funnels are literally the simplest ones. Simple skills. I truly believe.
Credit score, I need you to message me below. I can help you get pre-approved in as little as 48 hours and cash in hand in 2 to 4 business days. Here's the kicker: no tax returns, no bank statements, no proof of income required. We've helped thousands of business owners unlock capital for marketing, equipment, payroll, even scaling ads. Look, message me below and I'll give you a free business strategy call, plus the exact funding roadmap we use to secure 6-figure approvals. Message me below.
I remember when I was with him as well too, filming this, took like 10 different times. But with that being said, you know, Yankee logo on the shirt, that's gonna target way more wealthier people. That's what we want to attract. Next one over here. I love this one. This is a credit ad. Attention, people that recently got denied for the dream home because of bad credit. But it goes along with funding, kind of, because she does a couple of things very, very well that I want to share on here. You know, $1 million listing on the back end. You know, Aston Martin, that's probably a 6-figure car. All that stuff on there is going to target way more wealthier people. Wealthier people like nice houses, wealthier people like luxury stuff. Wealthier people are actually searching up luxury stuff, luxury goods, luxury brands. So by including that onto there, it's going to target a lot more financially capable people that are willing to pay you a lot more money. Amazing ad in the middle. Oh, the only thing I wasn't too crazy about it, Me too on the front.
Luxury isn't luck. Luxury is having great credit.
Yeah. I love to start out with like pain points or what I call emotional hooks. Hey, have you recently been denied, as an example? You know, are you tired of watching competitors get funded and scale their business and grow their inventory or payroll, but you're stuck in the waters or something? You know, I like to use those pain points in the beginning because it almost always gives you a cheaper cost per result and it really attracts the right type of people. See if I can go into the next one over here. This is
I'd say
Battery, awesome guy. Did a bunch of consulting with
$50,000 at 0% interest for 12 months without producing a.
This is like a mentorship client over here. But the reason why I love this ad and I wanted to bring this one up over here is because he has this unique podcasting style. And the reason why I love this is because it brings a lot of trust, a lot of authenticity. You know, and right now, one of the best converting type of ad types are literally this podcasting style. You know, I just bought this studio over here just so we're gonna have two podcasting sections, boom and boom, you know. So what I'm saying is that leveraging a podcast style, it just builds a lot of authenticity. People are used to seeing this, builds a lot more trust. Great for conversions over here. Podcasting style, uses his own brand over here. He has his logo on his shirt. Very, very simple. You know, it just really just builds him as an authority figure. Let's go to the next one over here. Now, this ad all the way on the right was for a client named Mike Huffman with Credit Funding Now. With him, he's not even using his face in these ads. All of his stuff are all hired actors, all AI. We can do that with your business, Mike. No, not a problem. You know, when I see, and let me really quick before I get into this ad, let me just kind of compare and contrast. I think this is also valuable between AI, UGC, and doing it yourself. Doing it yourself ultimately builds the most on your brand, builds the most authority, builds the most trust because they see you talking, see the confidence you have, they trust you.
Yeah.
They go to the Instagram, they go to the Facebook page, and they still see you. When they hop on a call with you, they talk to you, builds a whole lot of trust. Other one is going to be like UGC, user-generated content, pretty much hired actors. This one on the right-hand side is a UGC ad. UGC is great because it really shows that you're building an empire, you're building an actual corporation, an actual business. It's not just a solopreneur running it. So it does build a lot of trust, but it's not as trustworthy as, you know, the solopreneur showing off his face because, you know, this could be anybody. Don't get me wrong, they still work very, very well. The only thing is I'm not too crazy about because it takes a little bit longer. It's just going back and forth, creating more content from UGC because you got to write the script, you got to send it over to them, they got to record, you got to edit it, and back and forth, back and forth. It takes a lot of time. My favorite type of thing are like AI. I love AI videos because you can put out an AI video and get it launched within the same day. AI videos, you know, sometimes they do mess up though. Sometimes they are a little AI and you can obviously tell. But if you have enough editing on it with enough changing screens, it usually does very, 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 very well. Let me show an example of an AI video that we're using right now. Can you pull up this one over here? Here's a good example.
When you took your
Let me show an example of an AI video over here.
first MCA, did you expect to have a second or a third? If you're making multiple
This is
daily
definitely
payments and you
different.
feel like you're working just to pay the lenders, while your business and your family get what's left, we can get rid of those daily payments and bring your business back. 10 years in business, hundreds.
So a couple of things really quick to go off AI is that, you know, you can kind of tell it's AI. It looks a little too clean.
Yeah.
The voice sometimes could mess up in instances. You can kind of clean that up with editing and stuff. I love this because you can put out literally 10 AI videos like literally freaking today. It's awesome. But the thing is, it doesn't build as much trust as the first one where you're the solopreneur, obviously, because it's just a different person. You're not going to be able to talk to this person. A couple other things that I've seen is that this is like a more of an attractive female over here. Sometimes using an attractive female can also be counterintuitive, if I'm choosing the right word, in which case some lonely people might be clicking on the ad just because they want to talk to a hot chick. So it's not always the best. Sometimes trust me, this one, excuse me. So sometimes it does have its pros and cons. It does work very, very well. But again, you might have that little bad fit of people that are just coming on just because they want to talk to a hot chick. You know, it sounds very simple, but it's the truth. Let's keep on rocking and rolling over here. Awesome video. We have a couple more AI videos on here I can share if you want me to. But again, I really love AI because you're able to split test offers really quick and get within that the specific KPI that we're trying to hit the quickest. AI and graphics, I love it for that because graphics, they convert but you can put out a bunch of graphics, 10, 20, 30 different graphics in one day, split test the offers really, really quickly, and get you within KPI pretty quickly. That's what I like about them. Whereas I'm giving you a script, you got to edit it, blah, 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 back and forth, as an example. Cool. The next part I want to go over with ads, and Albert, I got you, bro. Give me a second here. The next part I want to go over with ads is the retargeting ads, because this is also very, very important. Retargeting ads, what is that, Blade? Really quick, it's just hitting people up again that already seen your ad. Over here, we're really building an ecosystem where people might come in from content or referrals, but convert off of an ad, or somebody might come in from an ad, but convert off of content or type of referral, as an example. What I'm saying is that this hammer strategy goes out to people from when they click on your ad until they actually sign up with you and pay you money. The reason why we need to have hammer strategy, I call this kind of like just the famous strategy now. I'm actually famous strategy now, is because that's kind of what it does. So when they click on your ad until the time where they actually cash collect and pay you money, we're taking all of your best content and really rotating out those people. The entire purpose of this is so to see a whole lot more. The more the people are able to see you with you providing value, building trust, showing your true self, the more people are really going to trust you. So you want to just take, a series of content. This is the type of content that you're going to want to have. Videos that provide value, talk about you coming off as an expert, answer common questions or rebuttals, showing what it's like to be part of the process, testimonials, things like that. You want to rotate out to those people. So again, let's say it's like they click on the freaking ad and they actually pay you. Let's say that's a 72-hour period, or maybe it takes a 2-call close. Maybe it's a week-long period. Doesn't matter. You want to make sure that you're always rotating all this content to these people. So overall, they're excited to hop on a call with you. They're excited to get started with you. They built this trust, less objections to handle during the actual sales call. And this, yes, some of my best clients really have freaking 50 videos. If I go to my account really quick, let me look at mine. I might have like 20, 30 videos on mine. Quick second.